So it's still the morning, I'm still drinking coffee, and you all saw probably in the previous clip what I put in my coffee. It's similar to what the big trend was a few years ago, that Bulletproof coffee, I guess it was called, where you put the cream and then you put possibly like butter or coconut oil, which I definitely love coconut oil in my coffee, but that was my second cup, so I kind of you saw me drink like half of it down, and then I add some more coffee to kind of warm up. And anyway, I use heavy whipping cream and the sugar-free, like a simple syrup or a flavored syrup by the Jordan Skinny Syrups, I think it's called. You'll see it in the clip before this segment. But I just wanted to come on and, this whole month we're kind of talking about food lifestyle. And 6 years ago, I changed my food lifestyle. And I think a lot of people, as they grow and mature, start reevaluating their food habits. And there was a quote that I had seen that I kind of wanted to talk about that kind of laps over into food habits and food lifestyle. And I have it here. What you're used to gives you comfort. What you're used to gives you comfort. And it makes me think back when we think of nostalgia from our childhood, I immediately think about food and the food that I was raised with, and whether it was good or bad, it was what I got used to. And so at 40, when I changed my lifestyle, the reason it's so difficult is because you're coming out of your comfort zone, and food is such a habit because we eat every day, 3 times a day, or we eat all day long. That becomes such an ingrained part of our lives. And so to change something, so I roughly changed my lifestyle about 40. So to keep the math easy, let's just say I'm gonna live till I'm 80. 40 is halfway through my life. And that's a long time. So 40 years of eating a certain way, to make a change cannot happen overnight. People are so hard on themselves about changing their food habits or any habit. And what we have to remember is what we were used to brings us comfort. But making the change and sticking with that becomes what we're now used to. So now when I go back to a food, like if I think back to a food that brings me comfort, it would be like, I remember in the mornings when mom would, be helping us get ready for school and everything, and she would bring me a product here in America called a Thomas English muffin. And basically it's this English muffin. You slice it in half, you toast it, you put butter, maybe some strawberry jelly on it, and that would be your breakfast. It's highly processed, a horrible product, but it's what we had, and it's what we considered breakfast food. The alternative in our home growing up was powdered sugar donuts. I don't know how or why that became a breakfast food in America. It was awful. So unhealthy. So it was the worst thing you can eat at breakfast. It's a dessert. Powdered sugar covered donuts. Anyway. So going back to this English muffin, that was just an assembled food. I don't believe that that's cooking. Mom didn't cook in the morning for us. She might have assembled this English muffin with some butter and jelly. So when I think back, do I crave that? Not really. I crave the comfort because I was used to it. Do you see what I mean? Like, it wasn't that was the best thing for me at the time, because surely it wasn't, but it was what we had, and I got used to it. And so as an adult, when we start making adult choices, when I was able to move out on my own, you go to the grocery and you buy what you're used to. And that was a big thing when I changed my lifestyle around 40, going to the grocery and having to be so self-aware. Because face it, we all go to the grocery and we just kind of go on an autopilot and we fill, we grab this because we're used to it and this because we're used to it. And we go around the grocery with your cart, getting all of the exact same things from 2 weeks before, and 2 weeks before that, and 2 weeks before that, and having to be so self-aware. Those first few months of changing my lifestyle, pushing that cart, thank goodness my husband was so helpful, pushing the cart around the grocery and resisting walking past the English muffins and coming out of my comfort zone to create a new comfort zone. And it's such a easy default to go back to your childhood food habits because they're just ingrained. I must have had Thomas English muffins with butter and jelly every single day almost for years. We're in school for like 12 years here in America, and I just think back, how many English muffins did I consume? And that just laid tracks for that habit as an adult. But as anything, with anything, you have to grow up. There's no more excuse. I've talked to so many friends and clients that there's no excuse because we have the internet. Now, before, when I was in high school, of course, there was no internet, there was no Googling, you couldn't look up, you didn't have access to every bit of information. We were really dependent on, well, I guess the nutrition label on the back of the package would give us some kind of information, but it wasn't giving us all the information about the products, the process, the unhealthiness, and education about America, giving us information about health, which was very skewed due to marketing. That's another video. I won't get into that right now, but there's a lot of marketing influence on the food here in America, of course, for financial gain. But again, just going back to what we're used to gives us comfort, and trying to step away from that and set new paths is very difficult, but it's so important. Again, as an adult, I have access to the information. I have it all at the fingertips. I can read, and there's no excuse. You have all the information. And so now when I'm looking back at all of that unhealthy food, I have to give myself grace. I cannot punish myself for making those choices. I cannot be angry at myself for making those choices. It was what I had. And so that's in the last 40 years back that way in the past. And going forward, I am so grateful that I was able to, with support, from my husband primarily, and just friends and family, to eat healthier, make healthier choices, create new habits, which is now the comfort. If I ate an English muffin right now, it would destroy my gut. My gut has healed so much by removing toxins. The number one toxin that I removed was sugar. Sugar destroys your gut. It inflames your intestines. It bloats you. It gives you completely inconsistent bowel movements from one side to another of extremities, and removing that toxin was the biggest, healthiest choice I've ever made for myself, so I can get to 80, so I can get to 90, so I can get to 100. I don't know if I want to really be 100. If I'm 100, could somebody at least draw on my eyebrows for me? That'd be great.